so number one, it says, given the measure of angle ABC is 90. So the first thing that I'm going to do is plug in what it gives me. So I'm going to go find ABC, and I'm going to put 90 for that angle. So 90 degrees will go here. Okay? And CBD is 60 degrees. So CBD, so I know this angle right here is 60 degrees. It wants us to find the measure of angle DBE. So DBE, it wants us to find this angle here. So we're doing that. If this side is 90, this side has also got to equal 90, right? Because a straight line equals what?
180.
180. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 90 degrees equals 60 plus the measure of angle DBE. Okay? Because I know that this whole angle right here has got to equal 90 degrees, right? Well, I have 60 degrees of it. I just need to find what this other part is.
Can you just be able to subtract 60 minus 90?
Yes, you can just subtract, but this one's wanting us to work on our proofs. Okay? So, but yeah, you can just subtract. So we're going to subtract 60 from both sides to get this angle by itself. 90 minus 60 is what? 30. So the 30 degrees equals the measure of angle DBE. Yep. We good? So your first step is always plug in what you know. So let's look at number 2. Number 2 says given VTW is 90 degrees. So I'm going to go find VTW. I know that this right here is going to be 90 degrees. And UTV equals 25 degrees. So UTV, this area right here equals 25. It wants us to find STU. STU, I'm going to put a question mark because that's what it wants us to find. Okay? Always plug in what it gives you. So if this is 90, this has also got to be 90. So we're going to set it up the same way. 90 equals 25 plus the measure that it wants us to find is STU. So plus the measure of STU. Is everybody good with how I set that up? So now we're going to subtract 25 on both sides. Okay? And that's going to give us that the measure of angle STU equals 90 minus 25 gives me what? 65. So 65 degrees. So that's how you'll do number 1 and 2, okay? Now, look at number 3. Number 3 says linear pair postulate. If you ever see this linear pair postulate, you're going to add the two angles up instead of equal to 180 to solve. Okay? Because a linear pair is supplementary. We remember from the first couple of weeks of school what supplementary means, right? Supplementary equals 180. Complementary equals what? 90. So if it's supplementary, I'm going to take the two angles and I'm going to set it equal to 180. So I'm going to have 3x plus 12 plus 2x plus 18. And I'm setting it equal to 180. Okay? All I do is add the two angles, set it equal to 180. So I'm going to have 3x and 2x, that gives me 5x. 12 and 18 gives me 30. So 5x plus 30 equals 180. And then you just solve like an equation. So I'm going to subtract 30 on both sides. These cancel and I have 5x equals 150. What's my next step?
You divide.
Divide by 5. Okay, so I have x equals 30. And that's going to be my answer. Okay? Make sure y'all writing this down. Y'all didn't write the questions down for nothing. Write the steps down. Alright, example 4 is going to be just like example 3. So what am I going to do to these two angles? What do we do here? Add them and then set it equal to what? 180. So I have 2x plus 7 plus 53 equals 180. Okay? So now I'm going to have 2x, 7 plus 53 gives me what?
60.
60 equals 180. So now we just solve it like an equation. Okay, we're going to subtract 60 on both sides. We're going to have 2x equals 120. Divide by 2, divide by 2, so x will be 60. Okay? So remember, if any time it says linear pair postulate, all you're going to do is add the two angles that it gives you up and set it equal to 180. Okay? Because it's saying these two equal this line, right? A line equals 180. So that makes sense. These two angles is going to equal that line, which is 180. Alright? Now let's look at vertical angle theorem. Vertical angle theorem states that the vertical angles are congruent. What does congruent mean?
Or 90 degrees.
No, congruent means you had it right the first time. Equal. Okay? So congruent means equal. So this time, instead of adding them together and setting it equal to 180, what are we going to do? What do y'all think we're going to do?
Make them the same.
They're the same, so we're going to set them equal. Right? So we're going to have 3x plus 2 equals 8x minus 8. You set them equal to each other on vertical angles, okay? Remember, I'm always going to subtract my smallest x. That way my x will be positive. So I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. These cancel and I have 2 equals 8 minus 3 is 5. And then I bring down my negative 8. I need to get 5x by itself, so I add 8 to both sides. I have 10 equals 5x because these 8's cancel. Now I divide by 5, divide by 5, so x equals 2. Okay? Again, number 6 is going to go with the vertical angle theorem, so what am I going to do to these two angles? Put them equal to each other, so I'm going to have 4x minus 10 equals 150. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides. I'm going to have 4x equals 160.
Why wouldn't you add the x instead of the
If I add 4x, because I want to get 4x by itself.
10? Oh.
So I got to subtract the 10, that way 4x can be on one side and the numbers can be on one side. Then what do?
Divide?
Divide by 4. And x is going to give me 40. Okay? Now, another thing that I want y'all to know, okay? Inductive reasoning, we're going to talk about two reasonings. Inductive reasoning has a pattern, and deductive reasoning has facts and definitions. So on your work today for 9 and 10, you're going to read what it says, and you got to tell me which one's inductive reasoning and which one's deductive reasoning. Okay, deductive reasoning is going to be the one that has all the facts and the definitions. Inductive reasoning is going to be the one that has a pattern. So like an example would be, if your mom woke you up at 6 a.m. on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, what time would you assume she's going to wake you up on Thursday? 6 a.m., right?